Good evening and welcome to the Orleans Hotel and Casino. We're proud to be celebrating the 10th anniversary of this year's National Finals Tonight show. Brought to you in part by Cinch, Preefert, Crown Royal Vanilla, Absolute, Bullet Bourbon, Jameson, 14 Hands Wines, Bud Light, Ram Rodeo, Neutrina, Boot Barn, Montana Silversmiths, Cactus Saddles, Big Tex Trailers, Resist All Hats, American Cowboy Magazine. National Finals tonight with 8-time world champion bull rider Don Gay, 8-time world champion cowboy Joe Beaver, and the men and women of the NFR. Sit back, relax, and enjoy National Finals tonight. And now, here's your host, award-winning television personality, Mr. Dan Miller.
Hi, everybody. What a good-looking crowd, huh? Is Tammy Larson over there tonight, huh? Tammy, how are you? Wyoming, is anybody else from Wyoming? Tammy is over there. It's it's 6 below at home in Cody. So yeah, we're glad to be here in Las Vegas. We are certainly glad to have all of you here. This is the 10th year we've been doing National Finals tonight, and we are honored to have you here with us. We've got a great show, lots of good guests coming out for you. We want to remind you to stay with us through the whole thing. We have a lot of prizes to give away as well, and some surprise guests coming out tonight also. Let's get our co-hosts, let's get our stars out here. They're both 8-time world champion cowboys. They really need no introduction. The first one, the best bull rider ever, my buddy and co-worker of 30 years, Donnie Gay is here. Donnie, come on out, sir.
All right.
Oh, baby.
We in Orleans.
We're gonna
Y'all
talk.
having fun yet? I mean, come on. Y'all having fun in Vegas?
Oh, man, it's good, isn't it? Huh?
All right.
Let's get this next guy out here. I can tell you right
Dan.
now. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that, yeah. Oh, my. Well, this guy coming out, also an 8-time world champion. He has gifts to give away, so be ready. Would you welcome Joe Beaver is here tonight. Joe.
Big Joe. Y'all want some goodies? Make some noise. Make some noise.
Yay.
Where you at, Kobe Dowd?
Oh, holy cow.
Good thing he ropes better than he catches, because he don't catch worth a damn. All the way back there.
Oh, good shot.
Last one.
Okay, we got to have a Saturday night loop here.
You pick.
Right down the middle, Tom Brady.
Whoop.
Yeah, that's over there. That's over there for
Right
the
down
money.
the middle, right down the middle.
Outstanding, outstanding. Hey, we want to tell you during the show tonight, we would like to have you participate. We already have some questions coming in. If you have questions you would like to ask, all you have to do is text those to us on your phone, and the number is coming up right there on the screen. We would love to have you do that along with us. These shows are out on YouTube, and they're looking darn good this year. If you would like to go and watch the shows on YouTube, we want to tell you also, if you're a dancer and are a partier, then you can go up to the Buck and Ball that says going on right here at the Orleans as well. And did you see these, Joe? Did you?
Yeah, you know how you get those in New Orleans, don't you?
Well, I was just going to ask. Do you get those because you're showing or you're
I guess
watching?
Donnie's been out there showing what he's got.
I was just waiting on some music, you know.
We can
Very
fix that.
good. The lady gave you those out here, right?
Yeah.
And did she give you anything else, or is that go?
No, she said I had to show her my tits.
Hey, Dan, that was that trip to the zoo. They got a Kobe wanting to go to a zoo. I'll take Kobe to the zoo. They got a unique zoo up here. It's called cheetahs. They got all kind of animals in that place.
That's the cougars out here too. Yeah.
There's all kind out there.
So did you, when she asked, did you, I saw the ambulance coming, so I didn't know if it,
Well, the poor lady scarred for life.
Donnie has 2 nipple rings, 8X, right on them.
No, they were, I was afraid that.
You got him now.
Well, I went outside right quick and then came back in and did
Oh,
it.
did you? Yeah, a little perky. That's good. That was good thinking, yeah. You're not wearing a T-shirt or a bra or anything, are you? You're just...
Don't call him perky. That brings up a whole nother topic.
Don't want to stay out in the cold too long. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure we got something to do here.
We do have something to do. Round number 7 is now in the books. Man, it's getting exciting, isn't it? I'm telling you, things have changed. We have great guests to bring out to you tonight. But in case you missed round number 7, all the highlights, Joe and Donnie doing that, of course, on the television telecast. But they're going to do it for you live here, Donnie. Bareback riding.
All right,
Start it
well,
out,
we'll start
please.
with the bareback riding and R.C. Landingham. Not the finals that he would pick, but you know what? When you ride like this and you're 84 and a half and you win $26,000 in 8 seconds, it makes all of those aches and pains begin to go away, because I can tell you, after round 7 in the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo, in the bareback riding event, the most physical and demanding in the business, these guys are sore, but he didn't look sore. He made a great ride.
They got to hurt. In the timed events, we're in the reruns now. Dakota, he knew this steer. They threw him in 3 once before. You give a guy like Dakota Elridge and a horse like Rusty a good steer, you expect a good start. He gets a good start. Now watch his head catch. Here's the difference. See that right arm? He gets a good hook under that right horn. The left horn's pushing down, left leg's bent. He never touches the ground with steer or body until he whips him down. That allows a fast flag from the judge. 3.5, he wins the go-around. In a team roping, we saw him drop the ball tonight, boy. But not old veteran Matt Sherwood. He takes 2 swings, gets a neck. Now watch this kid. This kid's horse, actually, he steps him up the arena because he doesn't want to duck in because of the neck shot. But he gets him maybe a jump by. This kid has got some range. Matt Sherwood reaches, it's heading legal. It just fell on, but it's legal. Now watch this kid healing. Quinn goes by a jump. The first time the feet come back to him, he whips it down there. They get a great flag. They win the go-around at 4.1.
In the saddle bronc riding, my fantasy pick, Coburn Bradshaw, gets to ride the horse around there for the victory lap. 85 points. Really made a good bronc ride. The bucking horses called Cookies, and I got mine whenever I'm thinking I might not be last, maybe. You know, this guy finally won something. I picked somebody that could do something. Coburn Bradshaw, he is kin to the Wright brothers, and, you know, watch him ride. Sticking the spurs up in the shoulders every jump. I mean, you can just see him rattle when he sets his feet. That's what the judges are looking for, because all these guys ride so good, you can't just go back and forth. You got to set them up.
All right, Matt Shizawa last night, he was number 1 in the average, had a chance to win a world championship maybe, breaks his rope tonight, comes right back and rebounds. Ties 1 in 7-3. Now, Matt Shizawa, what he does good, watch him hold his slack. Look how slow he looks, like he waits, but when he gets there, the calf isn't on the ground. That lets him flank him in time. Puts a wrap and a slap on him right here. He wins the day money. Matt Shizawa's won the 7th round like 5 times. From the 7th to the 10th round, he's won 3 rounds a year every time. In the barrel race, Mary Berger, here she goes finally. When she licked the first barrel, I said on TV, look out tonight. This horse blows off the 3rd barrel, and what I mean, watch. Look how far he goes towards the other barrel. He almost goes the other side, but he can run so fast. She runs a 13:58.
All right, in the bull riding, there's been times that we look out there and we only have 2 rides, 3 rides. Guess what? We got 3 rides tied for first place. Garrett Tribble, the Oklahoma kid, first NFR, he's been over. He's really trying to ride, and this kid hung in there. This bull had him bucked off, but he just doesn't quit. That's the first 85-point bull ride that we see. Just great effort. I'm really proud for the kid, because he has been trying, kept his attitude up, and then here we go with Cody Rostocki, little Texas bull rider. I mean, he's the class clown, and he's getting it done. This bull, they call him Monkey Punch, and I said, you know, Cody Rostocki riding Monkey Punch, you can't make that up, because this guy is a little monkey in the locker room, got a great attitude. His best asset is he loves to ride bulls, and whenever he's 85 and gets a share of 26 grand, I'd like to be with him tonight. Shane Proctor, who is 7 for 7. Shane Proctor, 85 points, nice bull ride. He's come to Las Vegas to right some wrongs, you bet.
Yes, he has.
Just a beautiful bull ride, got a great seat on him. And, you know, and you see him riding kind of close. Well, here at the end, he knows he's got him. A lot of pressure on you mentally, not just because you're in the bull riding, but everybody's saying, are you going to ride 10? Are you going to ride 10? And he goes, how about let me get 7 rode first? And he did it in fine style.
Donnie, who was the last guy to ride 10?
The last guy to ride,
Norman, huh?
no, it was Jim Sharp.
Jim Sharp, Norman Curry. Who else rode 10?
Adriano.
It's been a while, though.
A long time.
Yeah, and this guy's got a chance.
And it's not the bull power that gets you. It's something happens. One stumbles. We've seen Sage Kimsey have to manage some bulls.
A bad go out of the chute can do it.
Everything, can turn on an instant, has nothing to do with your riding. So Proctor's got it figured out. He wants to ride his next bull.
Yep, one at a time.
Yeah, it's exciting to watch.
And can he ride 10 for 10? Absolutely.
So.
Do I expect it? No, I don't. Just simply because the odds are stacked against him. But right now the way he's riding, if you draw bulls that fit your style, then you got a great chance.
All right, give the guys a hand. Good job of doing that live there, fellas. I'm going to just quickly talk to Colin back there. Colin, would you pull up in the saddle bronc riding rider rights effort from tonight? And I've got a question here, but if you'll pull that up and let me know when you have that rider right tonight in the saddle bronc riding. Donnie, some questions here about the bulls. Is there a breed of bull that's better suited for rodeo? The Bramers, would you talk about
well,
that?
that's old school. You used to be wild Brahma bull riding, and you had 2 that really bucked good, and then you had 15 that would kill you, or anybody else in the arena. It was a lot more fun to watch sometimes because nobody wants to see a wreck, but if one happens, you don't want to miss it, and so we're all good with that. But right now these bulls are bred to buck, just like horses are bred to run the Kentucky Derby. And the thing that they're doing is they find a sire like our stud at Frontier Rodeo, Big Medicine. Jerry Nelson said, and he was dead serious. He said, I think we could breed that thing to a dog and he'd buck. Yeah. But it's not just the sire, it's the mares, it's the foundation, and Jerry Nelson will be the first guy to tell you in our bucking string, if it hadn't been for Harry Vole selling him a good foundation of mares to breed, and everybody thought they were too old. But guess what? It's worked, and it's worked out real well. So getting back to the bulls, it doesn't mean just because you breed your cow to Bodacious that you're going to have a world-class bucking bull. But what it does mean is if that calf wants to buck, he's going to have the confirmation to do it to where it doesn't hurt him, because a bull bucking or a horse bucking is just like one of you guys putting on a set of boxing gloves and they tell you to get in there and do 6 3-minute rounds. Go try that on. It's hard to do. You got to like to do it.
Good. Thanks for the question. They do have this. I wanted this ride from Ryder, this effort from Ryder, right, just so you guys could talk about it tonight. This young man darn near got it done, ended up slapping the horse here, but just the effort in the saddle bronc riding.
Well, Medicine Woman won her 4th world champion bucking horse crown, but I'm going to tell you, she's going to have to keep it humping, because this horse right here, Killer Bee, has been bucking like this for a couple of years. And to me, I don't like this right here at the finish, because he goes from being maybe one of the rankest horses in the world to one that's just an eliminator, nasty. You can't spur a horse spinning and rearing up. And so the judges are going to be compelled to mark your ride down some.
And
you can't,
if she
but
keeps
look at
doing
that,
this,
but look at these jumps right there.
She's a 24 or 5 point
24
horse.
and a half point bucking horse for 6 seconds.
But right there, she gets nasty.
Well, and it actually, I think it surprised him, because she throwed her head up, rein got long, and his hand hit the top of his saddle. That's a disqualification. But it's one of those things that
he did try.
You don't ever practice for that right there.
Yeah, no, that's youth. He just kept trying.
Look at that horse, those jumps right there, though. Unbelievable. And he's going to be 96.
Now, right
if this horse
whoa.
doesn't turn back, he's going to be 96. And even riding in the belly right there and turning back and not kicking the last second and a half, he's still going to be close to 90.
Still win the go-around.
Yeah,
if he don't slap something, he wins the go-around.
He would have beat Coburn Bradshaw 4 or 5 points.
Yep,
Thanks for doing that back there, guys. We appreciate that. Joe, we've had this question come in a couple of times. People wanting to know, for the barrel racers, is there a covered warm-up area and somebody even says, is it possible that they can go watch people outside?
Like there's so many parking places out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's a little covered tent in the back, that's not very big. It's not as big as this, and that's about it. The barrel racers get in there early in the morning, work horses sometimes.
Joe and I could jog around and warm up in there.
Wow.
Yeah, I could get from one side to the other out of knee brace.
It's that
It's
small.
not very big.
Yeah, all right.
But they do go in there and work the barrel horses because, man, after a few runs in here, they know where everything's at. They know where the fences are, the barrels are. It's the hardest arena, one of the hardest arenas in the world because that first barrel, when you come down that alley running 100, it is just all of a sudden, whoop, right there. And fences are tall and they're yellow. And a good smart horse goes to pointing and dropping shoulders, and we've seen it night after night. Barrels go down. I think there's only one. Lisa is the only lady that hadn't hit a barrel.
The ground, the times were good,
Yep.
but to me, I was looking at the ruts going into the first barrel. First night, the ground kind of started breaking up because I saw a couple of horses stumble just as they were making the end of the turn on that first barrel trying to come out. There was 2 or 3 of them stumbled. It was the first night.
Yeah, and to me, it was the ones that shot them past it, kind of overshot the first barrel because, you got 1,100 pounds running wide open, and if you if you don't sit and you tell one it's time and you send them by a little bit, the smart horse, the barrel horse, they know, and all they can do is plant that front right or left, whatever that first barrel, and try to come back around. And you get out of the ruts and you get a jump by and you get, all that torque on one. They're putting a lot of pressure on them. That's when you find your ground problem this week.
All right.
Wide open is as fast as you can get that running. Oh, I don't know, 30, 40 miles an hour? You just asked, and I just said, I don't know.
Well,
I never clocked one. I guess I need to clock him and find out. Really, I don't know.
And the deal is the guy with a microphone wins.
That's a good question because it's not a long run to the first barrel. There's an alley back there, but that's a good question because, a lot of rodeos, you've got an alley from here to the front, and that you come from a pin. First of all, you come from a pin, and you have to go out of the pin, make a right-hand turn, and then a left-hand turn down the alley. And the alley is about 3 times as wide as this right here, maybe twice, and it's not that far, so they're running as fast as they can, but it's not as fast as, say, someplace that you go and you see them come from way back. And what else is funny you bring that up? Kimmy Wall, if you've watched, when she makes the turn, she's running as fast as she can get him running immediately, and that horse still finds the first barrel. Except every now and then, like tonight and stuff, horses stumble on the backside. But it's funny, I guess I should say some of them are running wide open, and some of them they ease to the first barrel because they always say the first barrel, third barrel is your money barrels. You got to hit the first barrel, and you got to finish the third barrel to come home. Yeah. So
Jana Bean comes out very quiet each night.
Oh, we're doing what?
Well, now, wait a minute. I saw on NFL Live that they timed Odell Beckham, and he was 16 miles an hour. So this horse can run by Odell and dunk him,
Yeah.
Okay,
I guess they need to find the fastest truck.
Yeah,
I tell you what you do.
that.
Tomorrow, if you got time tomorrow, get one and we'll get a truck and we'll time him, and tomorrow night I can answer the question right. Because right now, I ain't got a damn clue.
All right, Joe and Donnie, there's a lady in the audience here that you guys want to acknowledge. You both do a lot of work with the IRA. And,
we work for her.
Where's she at? And tell us.
The INFR, the Indian National Finals, their World Championships, the All-Indian Rodeo. They held it out at South Point, and Joe and I come out and we co-announced that event. Donna Hoyt, I know you're out there somewhere.
5th year,
Where are
Donna?
you, Donna?
6th year?
There you are. Stand
There
up,
you are.
Donna.
Stand up.
She
Right
runs
there.
that whole deal, and I tell you, it's a great deal. They have functions for all of the Native American kids, and they come and they get to rope with guys like Joe Beaver, and it is really a special deal, but boy, it takes a lot of work. And we appreciate you.
Glad to have you here. Let's get our first guest out here. Shall we do that?
Let's do.
One of the best events going right now is so tight is the tie-down roping. This young man, let's get him out here, and he's got a smile on his face for a reason. Marty Yates is here. Would you welcome young Marty?
I guess we should go ahead and clarify the reason it's such a tight race is everybody's messed up. Everybody.
A couple times.
Yeah, some people won, some two. But everybody's messed up. We've seen, Marty and I were just talking about it. Man, come Saturday night, he said, I'm sure going to wish I'd have caught the one I missed. Well, yeah, Caleb's going to wish he'd have got his time, and Cade's going to wish he wouldn't have misstrung 2 kids. But everybody's had them, Hunter Heron missed the barrier tonight. Nobody is without fault this year, it doesn't seem like, at the national finals, do they?
No, not at all. It's been kind of a different year coming out here. It's been a lot different for everybody, and for me, maybe not as much, but I know what you're saying, though, yeah.
Shane Hanchy, we saw him the other night to win probably second to go around. Kev gets up, he's out. Marty misses one early on. Well, he's out. Well, things happen like that, and it's going to change the standings.
How about Cade Swore missing a string twice?
Twice.
And one of the things I thought you'd be proud of me. I mean, I even saw him listening to Joe break down some of these runs and stuff and what y'all are doing. I mean, he even missed his slack a little bit, but none of that really mattered. He was still going to be a long 7,
good, yep.
and darn, he missed the string.
Well, I tell you what he's done. You can correct me probably, but he was going to win second or third last night and third or fourth tonight. So, misstringing 2 calves has cost him about $35,000. But in his position, in his average, that would have helped him 1 spot, and he's not that far behind Marcus. So, big mistakes this week costing people.
Yeah, he could have moved up in
Sure.
the average, couldn't he? I mean, because Hunter was long.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And there's some guys like you say, Hunter and Cade.
Yep.
They're giving up they're backing off maybe a little bit, and they're giving up a few easy checks in the rounds to me.
And which, we're not picking at them, but we're saying so sad Friday night when we come back and we're talking about who's going to win the world championship, the best option, or best opportunity. These guys have given up money each night. And Donnie, you talk about it every night. And I tried to tell Marty this from the first time he came. Hey, rope every night for money. You don't worry about later. They can add up and subtract and whatever they want to do. But and Cade's one of my best friends. I'm glad to see him come back. But come Saturday night, if we're sitting right here and Boyd's saying $21,300 cost Cade Swore, well, there it was with a picking string twice.
Exactly, and that's my deal. I've already went out in 2 rounds, but I've been getting money in the rounds every night, and that's why I've worked my way from 15th to 2nd in the standings. And I've almost caught Marcus. So we still got 3 rounds
and they've done
left.
the same thing. Shane Proctor's done the same thing in the bull riding. Went from 15th to 2nd. But y'all are roping and riding for money every time you back in the box, and not worrying about
around, if he fools around like if he fools around and wins, there's 3 rounds left, 75,000. Let's say he wins 50,000 in the go-arounds, and Marcos just kind of lays back for that average and placing. Well, guess what? You can't hardly win enough to catch him.
Yeah, what happens when you win 5th in the average and you don't win your 76, which you were thinking about?
And also what can happen is if you win the next 3 rounds and win that $75,000, whatever it is, and everything, you're going to move up and you're liable to place in the average, because what happens if one of those guys that hadn't gone out, what if they go out on Friday or Saturday?
And you know what we've also seen, and it's a new deal this year, we'll just, throw it out there, but we've seen 2 guys get taken out of the average due to calls on the jerk and stuff.
Yeah.
So, Kev's getting up and officials making calls. There used to be by the 7th or 8th, we talk about, well, this guy keeps catching, he can win. Not anymore. One is a good reason. Too much money at the NFR now. 75,000 left in 3 go-arounds. You can't dog it and win anything. And now we've got a lot of new calls. Brings in the judges deal we talked about a lot. Ours was always timed event, but that's going to make a factor, do you think?
It really does. We were talking about how the judge deal, any of the judge events, it's kind of politics, and not saying that the KF Open is, but it's a big difference now.
And it's a man's opinion.
When you have the jerk down rule, to where it's, they can't, if they come straight over backwards, you're disqualified. And everybody kind of knows that. And so none of y'all are trying to jerk one straight over backwards.
Right.
But then they go this 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and they got judges on the sides instead of in back and in front. Yeah. I don't understand.
See, to me, to call it, somebody needs to stand right by me, right behind, and at the other end, right in front, because you can see straight up. But you go to, it's usually splitting hairs, Donnie says, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, splitting hairs right there.
If you're a judge on the wrong side of a guy and you think he's about to touch his bull, if you're in the wrong spot,
You get the wrong view.
You have the wrong view, and then you can see, and it looks like he's got his arm laying on that bull's neck, and it can be just a hair away from it, but you either touched him or you didn't, and they're supposed to, without a doubt, know that you touched him before they drop the flag, and sometimes that doesn't happen.
And you know that might play to your benefit because we've run 7, and you had 2 rut rows. You placed in every other round.
Yes, sir.
See, there you go. You know, he's placed in 5 out of 7. The only time he hadn't placed is when he hadn't caught one. And that's the one thing I think this year, Marty comes in 15th. You know, we don't expect for him to be 15th to start with. He's not supposed to be in that bind. But I think one thing that's changed this NFR, you have decided if you catch him, you can win.
Yeah, for sure. Like on the stage the other night when I won the 4th round, we were talking about it, and I said, we said, well, what about if you're coming back from 2 misses, and then I win the next round that I catch? I said, I've run, this would be the 27th calf tonight, and that was the 24th. I said, I've run all those calves, and every time I caught besides once, I'd want to check at this place, at the Thomas and Mack. So there's something to be said for that a little bit.
No, I agree.
Yeah, it is.
Joe and Marty, you just alluded to round number 4. You won the round. We've got that racked up and ready to go. You guys take a look at it and tell us what you see.
Well, he cracks out and wins the first round, you know, or second. 7-2. And then I thought this was as good a run as you can make. Slack was good right there, stood him up. The difference in a lot of guys talking about how calves kick and they jack around, watch 2 things. When he ropes him, it's sharp, crisp. See him holding on that rope? That's what you want to do. Here's why people don't win a lot. See his leg down on that calf, his toes in the air, his heels down, this part of his hamstrings holding the calf down. You don't get kicked.
Legs are low.
Legs are low. They feel pressure. Right there, Marty, is you know 2 wraps and you're going to be in good shape.
Well, and that's what we were talking about on that calf. Shane Hanchy run him the first round. He won the first round on that calf. He put 2 wraps on that calf too. And I didn't know why at the time. I know it's first round, but that calf looked awesome. Right here, I know it's hard to tell, but he was stiff a little bit. And I probably would have been coming with the wrap Nahui, but I knew it was kind of a soft round, and I knew how fast we were going. My clock was running, but just tie him down and you win first right here.
Plus, right there when you got your feel and you know it's rolling, another wrap is not going to hurt a guy much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, look at the difference. See his first swing? There's been about 10 guys that I always worried about competing here against the first swing. Because if they get a first swing down like that, you catch them fast. And we're in a timed event. I don't care how good a run you make if you're halfway. You let me catch one in a swing or 2, I'm going to beat you. See people?
Time.
You see how it goes right to the front right there, the first swing? You've been working on that.
Most definitely. And that's the only time I've missed a calf here is when my first swing, it comes up behind me. Yep. And that's the only time I miss one here.
That's what you were talking about, that team roper. Colton.
Same thing. Yeah. T-Way being behind,
Get
shoulders rocked.
Yep.
You know, and the night that you missed the one, I mean, I could see it. Yeah, if I could have stopped time, I'd have punched stop, you know.
Exactly.
But when he goes by me like that, you know, the future's just so bright for, you know, there's 6 or 7 of you young guys that just got so much game. But here's the deal. You have to capitalize when you have a chance. And when you say you've run 27, 4 calves at the time, placed on all but one he's caught, that's stepping up for the big dance.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at tonight,
Perfect.
Marty, and see what we had for this round.
Yeah, tonight this was a calf that Reese Reamer and Marcus Costa had ran, and she beat them both out of there. Reese missed her, and Marcus run him to the back gate. And I really wanted a better start than that, but I would have literally had to go with the calf, I feel like, because I didn't give her much, and she beat me, and I had to go an extra swing tonight. And then I feel like that's why I got the bad go, because she was so far out there, and my horse might have been a touch tight.
Well, right there, you had 2 decisions, you know. If you leave it hanging, there's a 50-50 chance we get a 12 o'clock.
No time.
And a 12 o'clock is no time. So he made a big move. He knew he was probably going to wash him out, but get him up and win something, or just take a 50-50 and be no time.
Exactly. And like you say, 50-50. If I do wipe her out and she hits on her shoulder, well, I can still tie this calf in 7-2 if she's on her shoulder and comes up fast. But at least now we know that I can still place in the round and hopefully get some good money.
You knew when you flanked her, you weren't going to get flagged out. And
Most
that's a big
definitely.
deal, you know, in our end right now. It's new.
Absolutely. I mean, because it is a new deal and something that you have to pay attention to. But, you know, holding that slack and being able to get that calf to turn, even if it takes you another 0.3 of a second.
Well, and actually, you stayed there a little bit trying to figure out what to do instead of just running off. But, I tell people all the time, they talk about holding your slack. I said, man, you put 1,200 pounds of horse running, as he asked me, I don't know how fast, wide open. And he stops.
Let's don't do it there.
And he stops, and the 200-pound calf's going that way. There is some G-force right there on that. I watched Stan Smith tear his shoulder off at Kansas City one night. He ropes one in a short go, and he and I were both back to back, and I'm standing right by him, and he loses his right stirrup, and he tries to hold it anyway. 2 days later, they're doing reconstructive shoulder surgery. I mean, it just ripped it all but off of his body. So, it's a timing deal, it's a technique, but it's strength involved too.
Most definitely, yeah. And that horse has been phenomenal, I feel like, out here this week. And I've been, I guess the last 3 nights, it's been 2 swings, and I've had it on him right there. And then you have to go an extra swing. And I felt really good about that I could take another swing, and my horse still let me get a little bit more.
And that came from the start, because he talked about the start. We talked about Hunter Heron. 2 nights ago, I said if he doesn't miss one, he's probably going to win it. But I didn't think he'd be late. When you let him out and you get to the back end, bad things happen. I don't care what you're doing here. And he's long tonight because he backed off the barrier. Number 1, you can't back off the barrier. Number 2, you have to win all you can win every night. And you're like that little bitty rock in Marcus's boot. Yeah. You know what I mean? You can't cripple him, but you can aggravate the hell out of him.
Yeah, he's worried for sure, I feel like, because he now knows that I'm only 20 back. And I know I don't have a shot in the average, nothing like that, but there's still 3-day monies that pay $26,000.
And I'm telling you, that last go-around, you know that picture of Marilyn Monroe standing on that deal with her dress blowed up? I've seen a lot of cowboys with their jeans blowed up the same way that last night. So keep swinging at him and let's see what happens.
Yep, anything can happen. I'm ready to see it.
Well, this is his 3rd time here, and at 22 years old, you're a veteran here, and you like this arena, and this crowd loves you. And as I mentioned, they coming in 15th, now in 2nd. It's going to be great watching.
And it's just a matter of time before they put his name on the gold buckle, you know. And when they put it on it, it's well-deserved. He started young. His family's been after it forever. This isn't an accident. This is planned winning right here, people.
Give him a hand. Marty Yates. Awesome.
Nice young man.
Lots of talent right there. Lots of talent.
I just love it. That's what makes this rodeo like no other rodeo in the world, these 10 rounds, and to see that happen, him coming up, and it's just outstanding.
And we talked about it earlier this week, though, but between I think the new crop of bull riders and the young talent on iron, we've had a lot of young talent.
Bareback riders, bronc riders.
All of the bareback riders they look like they hadn't even shaved yet.
I was talking to some of the guys. I was talking to some of the guys in the locker room, in the bull rider locker room, and and then a couple of the directors come in. This actually has been a real refreshing national finals rodeo to me because not just one event carrying the rodeo and a couple of good performances, but I think the whole rodeo has been very, very good all the way through.
And you know what? You put a youngster in that position, they're craving it, they're talented, they want to win, they want to be here. It doesn't hurt to have a little young blood every now and then.
Yeah, I mean, in the bull riding specifically, there's been 5, 6, and 7 qualified rides out of the 15, and we were getting tired of seeing these 1 or 2 guys make the whistle, and these guys are here and making good work of their time, and it's pretty exciting.
It's very exciting. Let's move to bareback riding. Shall we do that? We've been waiting a long time to get this young man out here. He's the only cowboy here that's from France. Marseille, France is where he was born. Evan Jane is here tonight. Would you give him a hand? Yeah, man.
Hey, via Huntsville, Texas.
Wee wee, cowboy.
Come sit down.
Donnie just said everything he knows in French. He just said oui, oui to you, so that...
Yeah, if he tells you French fry, don't think nothing of it, okay?
It's good to have you here with us.
Thanks for having me.
And Evan, let's just talk about that first, because everybody's, they always announce that you're from France and all that. Your dad was a trick rider in France and in a Wild West show, and give us a little history of that for you.
Yeah, actually both of my parents. Actually, both of my parents were trick riders. I grew up in My mom raised me, and she's the one that actually taught me how to trick ride. And when I was 14, I started working for my father and doing trick riding shows around Europe. And that's when I saw my first rodeo in Italy when I was 15 years old, and I was hooked right away. I knew that's what I wanted to do, and I was going to do whatever it took at that time to come to the U.S. and try it out.
And you came over here as an exchange student, correct, first? Jeez.
You know that pebble in your boot?
Oh, excuse me.
There's that rock right there.
What
Please
year
go
did,
ahead.
Evan, I'm sorry.
What year did you come to the U.S., Evan?
I came in '98. I was a junior in high school.
Okay.
Magnolia, Texas.
We have winners down there.
And interestingly enough, France, they did a documentary on you about rodeo. And how did that come about? Did they contact you with that?
Yeah, I get at least one or two French TV channels to come every year and follow me around at rodeos. It's very interesting to them to have a French guy living the American dream. So I get a lot of TV crews following me around. But this time around, we financed something. My family and I, we financed something for a 52-minute documentary, and they follow me most of the summer, and they're here, and they did a splendid job. So I can't wait to see that.
Can I introduce you to Colin Kaepernick?
Yeah, this is what you need here. This is,
yeah. I mean, if you are cowboy enough to get it done, you can get it done in the USA. And first time I saw you was at Mesquite, and he didn't speak near this good English. But he picked the toughest event. Why bareback riding?
I started with bull riding, actually, and I just kind of worked my way through several events, surprisingly even team roping, but that didn't last very long. I used to use my team rope horse as a practice with the barebacker again, and my American dad
I'm
said,
sure
"Oh,
he
that's
worked
it."
really
Yeah.
good.
But yeah, in college I did all three events, and once you come out, it's so competitive. You just got to pick one event and really concentrate on it. For me, that was my case, and bareback riding was my event in college. Made the college finals 4 times, and it made sense for me to keep going with bareback riding.
What'd you major in? I mean, like when you're going to school. What are you going to be at? I didn't go to college, y'all. And
Really? We would never know that.
I just keep
What'd
wondering.
you major in? Like in school,
Yeah, I mean, like, why would you go to college if you're going to rodeo for a living?
You picked the worst event in the world. It's bareback riding. You're going to have to retire sometime.
You do, but for me, it was several things. First of all, I was the first one in my family to ever go to college, and I had the chance. Rodeo gave me that opportunity. I had a full ride scholarship to Sam Houston State, and I just wanted to have a backup. And it was for me for several years. I was a school teacher during the week and a college rodeo. Rodeo on the weekends. And finally, when I was turned 30, I just kind of let that dream slip away on making the finals. And I was talking to my wife. She said, "You got to stop. Rodeo has to become number one in your life, and do it. Thank you, Kristen." and when you throw yourself in rodeo and you give 100%, it's going to give back to you, and you're going to end up achieving some great things.
When I watched you ride at Mesquite, I knew that if you decided to ride bareback horses full time, that you could make the finals, but it took longer than I thought it was going to.
It's funny because I saw you, what was it, last year, I think, in Terrell. We were at Tractor Supply, and I was buying...
In Terrell, yeah.
I was buying some rubber mats to make a sparring dummy for the house, and you told me the same thing. You said, "Evan, you need to concentrate a little bit more on making the finals. I believe in you. You can do this." And I wanted to tell you that's what I'm doing right now. I'm investing myself. I want to do this, and but that adds fuel to the fire to have people like you believing in me, and I want to thank you for that.
Well, that makes a guy feel pretty good because all you get to do is help. Let's watch some bareback riding.
Let's take a look. He is a bareback rider. This is from round number 6, Evan. This is on Bar Bandit.
Talk about your ride all the way through.
Oh, this is a good feeling horse. This is a horse I won second in the first round last year, and it felt pretty good until about 5 seconds when the flank starts wrapping around my neck and my free arm. And,
Oh, really?
and you kind of
I saw it then, yeah.
Yeah, just got to put that aside, but it breaks your concentration just a little bit that you start making little mistakes. So, but he stayed pretty good all the way to the fence. So, and I was pretty happy with that ride. And I've had a hard time drawing. I've had a hard time with my back during this week. I hurt myself the first round. I hurt my ribs, and it's just getting worse and worse. So, it was good to draw that horse and finally win a check.
Tell the people how important, because when I started, there was no Justin Sports Medicine program, but tell the people how important those guys are, Tandy Freeman and them.
It's super important. I wouldn't be here today. There's no way I could still be riding bareback horses if it wasn't for Justin, and I'm telling you the truth. I'm in that Justin trailer about every rodeo I go to, and they take care of me. When you hit 5 rodeos a week in the middle of the summer and you run into the Justin Sports Med, they tune you back up. They help you stay on the road and stay healthy. And we ride, bareback riders, we ride hurt most of the year, and it's important to have these guys keep you on the back of the
And to
horse.
make sure that you're just sore and hurting, but you're not crippled. You're not going to hurt yourself further. They know you're going to hurt, but these guys are smart enough to know the difference. They don't just say, well, take a couple of aspirin and a nap.
And they know how to get guys like Evan through the next ride. They know what he can do, and they know what you could take, and it's fun to watch. It's for me. I mean, I've been in Justin Heater trailers all my life because my body was made somewhere cheap. I don't know where, but it's terrible. So, and I would watch guys, and bareback riders take such a beating. Donnie says it all the time, and you're right. And people don't realize that. But did you listen to what he just said? Most of us ride hurt most of the time because even when it's good, it's hard. And without that, those guys knowing how to get you through, you can't be at the top of your game.
Evan, let's take a look at tonight, and you can talk us through this from round 7 here this evening.
This is Beaver Fever. It's a horse I got on last year at a Reading, and about the 5th jump, my glove started rolling inside the rig, and then you kind of ride up on your fingertips, and it's very challenging, and you go into a mode. It's survival. You just want to cover that horse at that point, and you just do everything you can to just stay on top. And I walked back. I was pretty disappointed, but then I saw how the other guys did tonight, and I realized I'm not the only one who's sore, and I'm not the only one who's having equipment problems, and it's been a week for us now, and you could tell tonight in the locker room we were getting sore.
It's been an honor to have you come out here, Evan. I've never, this is the first chance since Mesquite that I've seen.
When I walked in the locker room, whenever you texted and asked if I'd talked to Evan, and I said no, because I watched him walk out of the arena, and I thought, oh, dang, And so I go in the locker room, and he's got his shirt off, and I said, Evan, and this is how he looks at you. And then he raised his eyes up. Of course, he didn't have to go very high. He's talking to me. And I said, Evan, I said, you don't have to. I said, but I'd love to have you on our show. And he goes, what time? And I said, 10:30. And he said, I'll be there. Now, that's a cowboy, because he wanted to come share his story, get to know you people, let y'all get to know him a little bit more than just that NFR back number on his back that he's awful proud of.
You know what's cool about it, though? It's, like you said, everywhere you go, they always, France cowboy. But then you get to realize what he did.
Yes.
It wasn't just like you're in France one day and bought a ticket next day and come over here and rode bareback horses. The trick ride and seeing the rodeos, and then it was your dream. When you came over here, nothing else mattered, because it's not like you just jump on a bus and go home the next day to visit. And that's what guys like this, to me, and Junior and the Brazilians, that's hats off right there.
Okay, and how many young guys from Texas and Oklahoma and California have dreamed about being a national finals bareback rider and had all of the opportunities already? You didn't have to come across the pond. Yep. and how many of them made it and how many didn't. And Evan James sits right here on Wednesday night in downtown Las Vegas, Nevada.
And this is his first time. He did it.
Yeah.
Evan, before you go, introduce your wife that was so instrumental in supporting.
Stand up over there.
Kristen,
stand up over
please.
there.
Come on.
All right, there we go.
Right there.
It's
Thank
a
you
good
for
thing
coming
she said
tonight.
go 100%.
Yep. Thank you for coming tonight.
Everybody,
Appreciate it.
I can see why you did what she said.
Give this man a hand, Evan James.
Yeah.
Don't squeeze that hand too tight. You know, that's not a good story.
Hey, but you say all the time about the last second or two of the ride. Just like when his glove rolls in him and stuff, you can see, everybody, and I say everybody, me included, watch a ride and think, oh man, there at the end it went. But to have somebody tell you why it went like that, that's what educates the crowd on rodeo.
Yeah, that's why, and just that little bit of difference. That's what's so tough about the National Finals Rodeo,
Just that, yeah.
because it's a good excuse, but it's still an excuse. It's your glove.
Yep.
You got to fix it. He's going.
Yep.
I'm sure that he's got another one, and he's got benzone on, and it's been setting up. I know how they do that, but I can tell you, when he was really nice and saying, when my glove started turning and I was getting to my fingertips. That goes into clinch mode. You can't drive a straight pin in there with a sledgehammer.
All right, gentlemen, before our time and I use the word lightly, well, let's get to, before we run out of time here, we were just talking about Mesquite, Texas, Donnie and I started doing those telecasts 30 years ago in Mesquite, Texas, and the one guy that came out of that who is better known than anybody there. Everywhere we would go all around the country, they would say, how's Robbie Vaccaro doing? How is Robbie Vaccaro doing? Robbie Vaccaro is here tonight.
He's in the house.
Just in the house, and I thought we ought to just come up and visit with him for a second. He's in town, team
He
roping.
and Mesquite were more famous than me and the Thomas and Mack.
That's exactly right.
Come
Robbie,
on.
come on, let me grab you a microphone real quick.
Here,
Sean,
we
you
got it.
have one here.
Come on up here, boy.
Let's get you in a hot seat, cowboy.
Good to
Well,
see you.
it's good to see you, Dan. I hadn't seen you in forever, and it's kind of funny. I live in Wyoming now.
Oh, do you really?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Just for the warm weather, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's so cold there, you can literally spit, and it'll freeze before it hits the ground.
Yeah.
But
It's a little
in the
chilly.
summertime, it's
This
it's
is the
big.
guy, and we're still friends, but one night at Mesquite, he was hung up on a bareback horse, and this horse was spinning, and I said, damn, he looks like a human weed eater.
Weed whacker.
Well, they come up and they asked me, Pam Minnick came up and asked me, she said, God, what was going through your mind? I said, boy, I felt like a lion on a weed eater. And he repeated it on TV, and I'd be at a rodeo somewhere in Canada. Hey, look, Mom, it's the weed eater guy.
He loved me.
And I thought, I'd be at rodeos everywhere. And if you've ever watched the Mesquite Championship rodeo and Don Gay's worst wrecks, you've seen this guy right here.
Hey, everybody's got to be known for something.
Yeah, Bob Tallman, he'd be like, only Robbie Vaccaro and Super Dave Osborne can do this. Do not attempt to do this at home. Robert, you want to kick a little dirt in that hole before you walk back? This is a fill your own debit course.
Robbie, you're here in town doing some roping, though, aren't you?
Yes, sir. And Byron Walker asked me one time at the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame roping. He said, "Is your team roping as entertaining as your bareback riding?" And I said, "I'm gonna tell you what."
Byron, surely not.
Well, I hate to admit it, but I was at a roping about 3 weeks ago at Pocatello, and my horse been working really good. I back in there running my first steer, and we get a fast time. But as soon as I undallied, he kind of got me. I woke up, and an old friend, traveling partner of mine, Shane Call, standing there, and he goes, "God, Robbie," and I said, "What?" I'm looking. There's an ambulance right here.
You thought you'd back in Mesquite, didn't you?
I looked at him, I said, you know what, I guess some things just don't never change. Mean old Mr. Gravity, he sure ain't got any nicer, that's for sure, because, that horse bedded me down, God almighty. scattered my chickens.
There you go. That's
I said that one time too to Neil Gay. Yeah. He said, "Oh, Donnie, did you hear that?"
The only thing that Robbie never knew, you know, because we did the Mesquite Rodeo telecast for how long? 14 years. Okay, so 1.2 million people are watching it, and the business is finally going pretty good at Mesquite. And I was thinking that my daddy was going to adopt Robbie. He said, he sells more tickets than KVIL, which was the biggest radio station in Dallas at the time. So it was just a lot of fun. And I'd somebody told me, I think Joe might have told me had seen Robbie over at the roping, and he was fixing to head back home. And I just wanted to get Robbie up on stage, you know, reminisce a little about Mesquite and introduce him to you people around here, because there's not a tougher guy on the planet. I saw him take the most god-awful wrecks imaginable, and then he would be the first guy to get back on. I mean, when Neil Gay said it's time to get on, Robbie was the first guy to get on.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, gee, many Christmas, you know. But that's actually bragging if you come from my family.
Well, you know, and the thing people don't realize too is I won a little more than a lot of people think, you know, but that's kind of my fault. But you know, because I mean, when you learn how to ride on TV, that's not the not the.
Don't try this at home part. Is don't learn to ride on TV.
Robbie made the circuit finals in Texas. I mean, he won quite a bit of money and coming there on the weekends, working and riding and everything. But geez, the stories weren't near as good.
no.
Well, I won it one time. The first time I ever won it was televised. Donnie Gay said, "There is nothing wrong with your TV. Do not adjust your set. Robbie has won the bareback ride."
But I love you, Robbie McCarroll.
And I mean, people still talk about it today. I mean, Clint Corey's like, "Man," he said, "do not adjust your TV." They're beating on their leg. You know? It's not true. There's nothing wrong with your TV, you know. But I tell you what I did. You know, I didn't make it as far as I wanted to, but it wasn't because I didn't try, and it dang sure wasn't because I didn't have the opportunity. I grew up on the Steiner Ranch, and I grew up around guys like Donnie and, you know, and Joe. I remember him in youth rodeo, actually. And I even knew his wife and stuff when she was around and secretarian and helping, you know, the guy down in Texas, Lester Meyer and all of them, and his wife. But, you know, I had plenty of opportunity. I grew up around a lot of world's champions and the greatest cowboys in rodeo, Bobby Steiner, you know, and Leon Coffey. And then back then they told us, you know, if you want to be good, you have to be tough. You cannot be one without the other. And, you know, and they weren't real nice to you when I was starting out. You know,
Let me tell you a little secret. Neither was he.
No. But, I mean, if you didn't get on at least 5 or 6, they'd throw beer cans at you, you know, and run you off. So you either got tough or you quit. And I really wanted to do it. But, you know, I tell you what, I learned more from him and his dad that he probably realizes and probably doesn't believe that I remember stuff he told me, like obtainable goals. If you can't make the circuit finals in the top 5, you cannot realistically think about making this rodeo here, the national finals. So, you know, put yourself in obtainable goals and your long-range goals, stuff like this. And quit being such a nice guy and get the money. And I remember that. Yeah. And then, you know, and I asked Bruce Ford one time, I said, "What does that mean?" He said, "Man's got to have a little hate and he's hard to be a winner." You know, and he's right. And once I learned that, you know, I started doing better. And now it's kind of carrying over my team roping because that requires a lot more to lock than bareback riding does.
Well, that's the reason Pete quit. He said team roping. He said it's two fools trying to get lucky at the same time.
He did, and Pete told me that too.
Robbie, we give this guy a hand. Will you? You've enriched our lives.
I mean,
Robbie
he's my
McCarroll.
friend,
Yes.
and I just wanted y'all to meet him.
Robbie Vaquero. Yep. Come on out here, Robert. Give these two guys a hand, will you? Bob Tallman, Boyd Polhamus.
Hey, Robbie, don't leave for a second.
Uh-oh. Love Fest is starting. I tried to get him off the stage.
Yeah, I did, because now I'm going to want him to do some imitations. You heard him do a little bit of Donnie. But this guy can imitate Hadley Barrett better than Hadley Barrett. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Is this microphone on?
Yeah.
Okay. Hadley Barrett. Well, formerly a Nebraskan man, now makes his home in Colorado, and the true voice of the Cheyenne Frontier Days Rodeo.
That's awesome. Okay, and I got to tell my favorite Robbie Vaquero story, because when you're a guy and you get on a plane in a cowboy hat, the two things they'll ask you when you sit down is, have you ever been to Mesquite? And then, do you know Robbie Vaquero? And so that's the two things. You get on a plane anywhere, and as with a cowboy hat, they'll ask you. But my favorite story is in Casper, Wyoming one year. He's entered the bareback riding, and he's got a horse that's squatting, and Larry Sandvik is on the mane of the horse, working the mane of this horse, trying to get him to stand up. And Robbie looks at Larry and he says, "Step back, Larry. I don't want to get any hair in your eyes."
I did. I told him, I said, you just step back so you don't get no hair in your eyes. You'll want to see this.
Right.
Now, I never ever told you to go back and kick dirt in one of them divots. I told you.
This is a fill your own divot course, Robert.
I told you at Fort Worth one time, take off your chaps and drag that skid mark out of the arena. If you'll remember that. It was not a hole in the dirt. Hell, it was a divot 18 feet long. And it wasn't your feet that made it. It was the top of your head.
It was. I could have really done a second career as a farm implement. You know, the pickup man would go, "Hey, we don't need a tractor out here.
Yeah.
Robbie's out."
John Deere could have made you a lot of money. Let me tell you something. You know what? Boyd said it. Donnie said it. All of us know it and everything else. You have no idea of the fan base you built for us, and that their kids are fans today because of you.
Well, you know, I was thinking about it the other day. You know, when they did those interviews, all people thought, "Oh, you must practice that stuff." And I said, "No, I don't know what they're going to ask me." You know, I just kind of think about it in cowboy terminology and then try to apply it in rated G version, okay?
Yeah.
But what I've always thought I did, and I'm not always the sharpest knife in the drawer, but, you know, when I was 18 or 19 years old, I even figured out then, as a rodeo cowboy, whether you're a world's champion in the arena or out of the arena, it is all of our responsibility to promote the rodeo image and the cowboy image, the image of the professional rodeo cowboy. We got a good product. It's good, clean family entertainment, and we got to inspire people out there. And that's what I tried to do. I hope I did a good job.
Donnie, you know this as well as anybody. At Fort Worth, we have 36 performances, and up until about 5 years ago, we really didn't have a dressing room. We had a hallway. And the timed event guys did what they could do out on the street. And in the hallway, you always did got your rigging ready, and got your saddle ready, and pulled your bull rope. And the rodeo would be over an hour and a half later after they were done riding bareback horses. Everybody else would be gone, be at the beer stand, or they'd pie-eyed. This man would be there. There'd be 7 or 8 little kids and a mom and a dad and some young people there. He'd be signing autographs. He'd sign whatever he had, sign whatever they wanted. 2 hours later, he has invested his life in us. Bless you.
Robbie Vaquero right there.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you for coming, Robbie.
Okay. Who sent the memo? Y'all?
Purple shirt memo out there. Yeah, you guys are looking pretty darn sharp.
It's looking good.
All right, Robert, tomorrow is a big... Let me just ask Boyd first. We just had Marty Yates on. After tonight, Boyd, it's so close.
You want me to lie to you?
No.
I haven't had a chance to look at the
Okay.
computer sheets at all.
Okay.
I still think the tie-down roping is Marcus Costa, Hunter Heron, Cade Swore. They're still the three you better keep your eyes on. Marty doesn't have a shot at that average, and I'm sorry, he's $250,000. There's $70,000, just shy of that for the first place guy. Can he go around him to death? He certainly should go out swinging. Oh, yeah. And there's a chance if he goes out swinging, he could do something. If one of those other guys that are counting on that aggregate. But right now, I still think, even when you look at it, if you were to look at the what-if sheets, they're predicting Marcos, I think, right now to win it. Okay. Because of the problems Hunter had tonight, but it's still within $10,000-$12,000.
Huge mental hurdle for Marcos. I mean, you know, this when you're trying to strap on a gold buckle and you got that kind of heat behind you, there can't be no rut rows, and as Joe says, and I'm pulling for him. Sure. I really am, because I mean, he's a wonderful guy, but he's going to have to do some roping.
Yeah. Okay. Bob, I want to do this. I was talking backstage. Bob's been at rehearsals all day today for the Boyd Gaming Shootout tomorrow. And what I heard was, I was talking to the ladies, exciting stuff. Not just the rodeo, Bob. Oh, no. The openings, everything involved with this
and not
Boyd
just
Gaming
tomorrow.
Shootout. The next 3 days.
Yeah, on Friday. Tomorrow's First Responders Day. And we hope that we might get a half a dozen policemen and women. Yep. Today at rehearsal, over 20 showed up. These are local people, been on shift. They broke their shift today. They came to rehearse, okay? Then the next day, we're going to rappel out of the ceiling. Nellis Air Force Base with some guys that just came back from the Middle East. Won't tell you exactly where. They haven't been home but a few days. And they're going to prove to us that America is great and it's worth fighting for.
Look over your shoulder right there at this picture, Joe, right there. This picture is from Pearl Harbor right here. This picture commemorating today, of course, December 7th, but the guys did that, the boat up here, the ship, the Arizona up here, and then what happened at Pearl Harbor there.
Let me tell you what happened tonight in remembrance of Pearl Harbor Day and all of our vets. There was a family that's friends with Sage Kimsey's family. They lost their son 8 years ago. Fighting over in Afghanistan on patrol, a Special Forces member. And I apologize, I can't remember the boy's name because I left all of that rodeo stuff at the rodeo. But this family hit their son's dog tags to the rodeo. They got him to Sage Kimsey just as he's putting his, getting ready to ride his bull, putting his chaps on in the locker room. They bring his son's dog tags to him, and because the boy always wanted to go to the NFR, and so he got to ride his first bull at the NFR riding on Sage Kimsey. That happened tonight. Sage took it in stride. I watched it happen, and it didn't bother him at all. He wasn't too big to do the right thing, and boy, it was pretty special to me back there. I thought,
tomorrow you're going to see 64 contestants, many world champions. I told you over 50 world titles will be here. Some guys that were over there last year, back here this year. But you know what? There's 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th people that didn't have the year that they had to go back over there again or didn't get there, and they're going to be here.
Josh Frost, he missed 2 months because he got hooked. He was going to make the finals, and he's still going to college, but he's going to be riding over there.
Let me tell you about the first. Oh, and by the way, McCoy's dad is in the roping tomorrow, and if you haven't been there to go sign up, go in there and bet some money on Joe Beaver and McCoy Pro Philly. Here's the deal. In the opening tomorrow, and people are going to love this, and our ticket sales, go get your tickets tonight for tomorrow and get them for Friday night, and you better get them for Saturday. We're going to have the biggest audience that we've ever had, and the day's going to come, you're going to want to buy all 3 shows as like season tickets because you're not going to be able to get them. In the opening tomorrow with the first responders, the story is, and we're very blessed that, Roger and I are allowed the freedom to say it the way it is. We're going to bet here, we're going to drink some beer here, and we're going to call it the way it is. I'm one of those American people that Boyd and I have been this way for years. We're kind of hogs and mongers for information. And I'm sick and tired of listening to radio, talk radio, any newscast, and hearing about first responders getting shot. sick and tired. Be there tomorrow. Be there tomorrow.
Okay. Time that starts tomorrow, gentlemen, the times for the performance?
2 o'clock performances, and be a little less than 2 hours. I mean, we'll run the show. It'll be great. All of the livestock and cowboys, the competition is going to be outstanding. And, you know, when the idea first came across 2 years ago, we started talking about this in the Boyd Properties. I said, you know, my gosh, a great rodeo in the afternoon, a warm-up to go to the NFR that night. And, my God, how many times can you go shopping?
He's been a part of it since the very first conversation. Nobody could have a better consultant. And he's got that gene of brilliance, and he's involved with us making it work. But the thing is, when Bobby Moat nods his head tomorrow,
yep.
Okay? When Tilden Hooper, who's been hurt, nods his head tomorrow, they're not going to be thinking, geez, I wished I was over there. I'm damn glad that they're right here. And the saddles are absolutely beautiful. The money's big. But the competition is going to be phenomenal, and you're going to love it. And we have Justin Rumford.
Yes,
Justin
will be
so
there.
Raj and I are not alone.
It's good for everybody. Boyd, before I say goodbye, I want to tell you it's good to have you back in the arena tonight and have you announcing tonight.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
It's good to be back.
Thank whoever put you back in there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. Just awesome. You make it. Would you give these guys a hand, please? Joe Beaver, Bob Tallman, Boyd Pilhamus, Donnie Gate, Robbie Vaquero. Thank you so much for coming tonight, Robbie. Please stay right where you are. We have prizes to give away. We're going to do an official goodbye and dim the lights, but we'll give away prizes in just a second. Thank you for coming tonight, everybody. Thanks.
Thank you for watching and attending the show. We hope you enjoyed this presentation of the National Finals Tonight Show at the Orleans, where all the cowboys go after the rodeo. We look forward to seeing you again tomorrow and remind you to join us for the 100th episode on December 10th. Same time, same place. We invite you to keep the party going at the legendary Buck and Ball. Head to the Buck and Ball Saloon for live music, dancing, beer and drink specials, and best of all, no cover charge. And one more reminder, get your tickets to the Cinch Boyd Gaming Shootout Rodeo December 8, 9, and 10 right next door. Prices start at $30.